My name is Carson. Welcome back to Thrifty Garage. In today's video, we are harvesting rustic metal for the shop wall. We are also replacing this shed roof. It is leaking and the insurance agent does not like it. So I started with a hammer and a bar up here yesterday, pulling off pieces, and it was going really slow, wasn't working very well, and I didn't feel very safe. So I've got a better solution I'll show you right now. Okay, I tried this with a little hammer, didn't work very good. With this big hammer, if we take this and we hit it on these rafters right where the nails are, upward force, it pushes all our nails up and makes pretty quick work out of it. Let's get to it. Got my nail bucket, pull out whatever nails I can, and the rest will fall to the bottom. We're back working on the shed roof. I don't know what these are called. Purlins maybe? Just the horizontal slats that are going to allow the roofing panels to go vertically on here. These are just 1x4s. I'm putting them on because a couple different reasons. This will give us something to screw into from the roof. It's going to give us a little bit of structural rigidity. Not a ton, but just enough to kind of hold everything together. My plan is I'm actually going to lift this roof up higher. This whole wall has gotten some water damage, so I want to lift it above there, get some new, fresh, clean places to put my flashing up against the building so that the roof is shedding water. The whole point of this is just to get water shedding out of this woodshed area. And also, if we elevate this, we can put some of the equipment inside here as well. So we have liftoff. Look at that gap under that wall. Okay, things are about to get squirrely, so we'll see how this goes. Use that board on the jack with that board. Now I've got this board supporting that, and we'll do the same thing over there. I'll just kind of lift this corner by corner. May have to get some equipment out here to do this. Let's get her done. Okay, we're getting this thing off the ground. Looking good. We definitely need to do this. This thing is rotten to the core. There was a nice little mouse house in here too, inside the wall behind our wood pile. So definitely needed to go. That hole needs replaced. Right now, this side is sitting where it originally was. That whole wall needs to be lifted up. This one's been lifted probably 2 or 3 feet. This one's probably been lifted about 2 feet, maybe 1.5 feet. There's that pole. Here's another pole out of the ground. And that whole wall's off the ground. We're sitting pretty precarious like. Okay, let's do an update, see how we're looking. This side is the last side for me to do. I've got this beam supporting right there. The weight is being spread down that beam, another beam there to support it. The far end is supported on the wall. We've got nails and screws along that board. This board's pretty much not doing anything right now because the weight's right there and that one's all rotten, so I'm probably gonna move this one right here. We've got another support there. This roof, I've taken quite the bow out of it. There's a little bit of a bow in it. There was a gap, about a 2-inch gap over there, but I raised that one up and we're looking good there. This whole side, how you can see my markings. Black markings up there, 21 inches above the old top of the roof line is the bottom of that beam. So the top of this roof is more than 2 feet taller. That beam's just floating. So next step here is I've got to cut the end of that board off so I can lift that up. This corner needs to come up quite a bit still. So you can see we got our black mark there. Old roof line was here, so the bottom of this needs to go to the bottom of that. So this whole corner needs to be cut out, cut this off, and then we'll push it up into that corner, screw this to the wall. This header beam will just kind of be floating and we'll tie into that wall. Up top here, got our top beams on. This is definitely not going to be perfect. This is not going to be square or level in any direction. But I'm basically just reusing boards that I had. So these 4 corner boards that I've got on the 2 sides, they are old leftovers from the chicken coop. And then these 2 long ones, I don't even know where those came from. I think they were sitting on the property when we moved in. So, or we picked them up off of a job. So we just reuse these guys. And we're just kind of winging this project 100%. Today the goal is to get this secure enough to put a roof back on. I'm not gonna have time to flash it. When I come back, I'm probably gonna come back and we'll put these beams in the middle here. And then I didn't like the way these 2 trusses to connect together. They're just little sheets of plywood right in the middle there. So we're going to put a 2x6 on this side of the board as well as that side of the board so that both of these trusses are better supported. But that should be able to wait until we get back. So that is where we're at. This is a crazy project. Slowly making more progress. Put a new 1x6 on the end here because that board was completely rotten. All right, it's right here. So this board, this end, should be like another foot longer, and it's just completely trashed. So got that one up there replaced, reconnected all of the joists, got a new piece of plywood on there. These older pieces, that's how they connect. Plan is to put another post there and then put a 2x10 I think I bought to go along all these boards and support this side, because the plywood piece is only holding that side up. So this board is only supported by that piece of plywood. So we'll get some weight, these boards sitting on a 2x10. And then also over here, we started putting flashing in, and I put this trim piece in here to kind of finish it out. It's been slow going, so I haven't been doing much filming, but have been doing a lot of work. So you can see here, we've got this 2x10 header up here. We also replaced these two boards. So this end was sagging. It was about 4 inches too low. So I ended up lifting that 4 inches longer. So we had to take out those other boards that were here, put two new verticals there, put our 2x10 up there. And I also screwed in this 2x4 to the wall to give some vertical support to that edge along there. We've got nails and screws all the way down there. So this end should be good. And then this 2x10 is really supporting this middle joist. So I might end up building the wall in here, but honestly for now, this board and that 2x10 is supporting that whole section. And then same thing goes here. This is kind of spreading the weight here. As we showed before, we've got this joist here on the end, and making good progress. This side needed a lot of work. We need to move this firewood pile so we can rebuild this wall. And then we will also, once we get these posts set for final, we can set those posts set for final and start building walls, finish our roof, and do all that fun stuff. We're doing some more demo. Got all these bricks and this dirt. So along this wall before, there was a little miniature brick wall. You can see on this end how high up it came. So it's about 3 bricks high. Just came up to here. And then the old wall sat on top of that and went up to the roof. So removed that. And then we're gonna have our skirting come all the way down and end right here. And so our new grade will be right here. You can see where this gravel's at. That will be our new grade. We've got gravel, clean gravel, and go all the way around here. There's a French drain in here too, right next to it. This French drain keeps going this way. Got our inlet box right there. Now we've already added more gravel right there. So any water that gets up against here, this hill kind of slopes into here. This French drain has picked up most of that, but we want to capture as much as we can get into here. Pull it around that way. Anything that gets into here can filter down, and then I'll also continue digging around that side. So any water shedding off the walls here will be taken care of. The more I look at this building that we call the woodshed, the more I believe with 100% certainty that this was just added on, and added on. So we had this corner block here. I think this started as a pole building or a pole barn. We've got this hole right here where there was a post. There was a post over there. So I think it started as a post building. Somebody built a little brick wall here. I think after that they poured this concrete. And the more I look at this, the more I'm concerned about the way we're doing this. This concrete's not the best. So I think eventually we'll get in here and cut out around these posts and pour a big footer right here and just make this more secure. But the biggest issue right now is the roof, and we are getting real close on having the roof done. And so once the roof's done, we got the siding back together, we can call our insurance agent and get this whole building insured to its full value, its full potential. It is an older building, but right now it's way underinsured, at least as far as what I understand. But Basically have this wall ready to put our panels in. We're gonna put 4 panels in this way. It's about 16 foot, I believe. And then that wall will be done. Still got a little bit of roofing to do. We gotta put our ridge cap in there and our flashing along the edges. This flashing on this end and that extra trim piece there is done. We got that flashing there. We'll need to continue it through. Starting to finally take shape. We got some walls going up. We got our interior wall in there. We got this wall right here. Gonna have to come back and fill in this bottom piece with trim. I bought some trim board for the bottom there. Ended up being like 8'3", 8'6" on these sides. So we've got this same trim board that's up on the upper fascia that we'll use on the bottom there. Yeah, really happy. Now we just got to figure out what we're doing for a door. I think I can do like an 8x8 or 9x9 door right here. I might even be able to make it big enough to fit the Mini X in here. It'll be tight over in this corner, getting a joist up there tall enough. And then on this other side, thinking about doing a golf cart door, like a 6 foot by 7 foot door right there. Drive a golf cart in here. Drive a lawnmower in here, lawnmower tractor parking here. Or a golf cart there. Not that I'm into golf, but yeah, for resale values, I think it'd be good for the house. That's, I think, we're gonna wrap it up tonight. Gotta finish up this roof. Gotta finish up that wall panel, and gotta figure out our garage door situation. Slowly making progress on the shed build. So I've got this framed out for a 6 foot by 7 foot door. And then I frame this out for a 36-inch door temporarily. So eventually we can bump this out and add this bigger panel in. But for now we can put this panel, this panel, this panel in, cut an opening there. We can either add an exterior door or just leave it open. So we've got a 2x6 here and 2 2x4s holding up 3 2x6s. Spans all the way across. This board's just temporary. Spans all the way across here. Eventually we can add a 2x6 here. It'll go down the full length down to there. And then we've got a little sill plate there. And then this piece is separate, so that'll just be pulled right out, and the 2x6 go all the way to the ground. And then if we ever add a garage door there, it's ready to go across that full width. And we're ready to put sheeting on the outside. Slowly coming along on the inside here. Next build is this garage door opening, and then we need to finish sheeting this whole wall and finish with our last panels on the roof. So everything's gone pretty fast up to this point, and this is kind of the slow going work. Doesn't feel like as much progress, but feels good to get it done when we get it done. Here's a look at our drip edge and fascia board. It's really starting to take shape. Putting our trim boards on. This is 1x6. I'm using the air nailer for this. It just seems to be easier. We got my roofing panel all screwed in except for this last piece. This is a 8-degree cut right here. Came out pretty flush. Gonna put some metal trim over the edge here. And this corner kind of came out wonky. We got a little bit of an overlap, maybe an inch over there. And down here, we're about an inch shy. So barn is not square. That's where we started the sheeting coming across. So found some big corner pieces that'll go over here and kind of bridge these two gaps and get any water that falls right here. We'll push it over into there or here instead of letting it fall down right there. I was going to put some drip edge right here, tuck it under here, but then any water here would drip down we could go back in here and rot out this wood. So found a solution for this corner. Kind of took this method from metal building storage units. They kind of have the big edge caps, so I think that's going to work out perfect here. But let's hammer in these couple nails, and then we'll throw some nails in the upper section. Obviously this section was taller than 8 foot, so we've got this seam flashing in here. Water out, trying to keep a gap underneath that board so any water on that metal lip doesn't rot out the bottom of those. I left the full face of these trim boards on this side because it's more visible from the house. So that corner where I've got my cut is facing the other direction. And then we'll finish out our drip edge going across here. And finish out with drip edge, wrap it around that corner. Now that we got that trim board on, then we can put that metal flashing on last. And then this side's looking good, except for we need to put our trim around that door. And I think I found some cheap doors on Facebook Classifieds. I'm gonna throw a out exterior door in there. Just came and looked at it from this side. I'm not super happy with that, but from the side I was working on, it looked fine. Yeah, I definitely should have stopped at the edge there instead of going the full length of the trim. But I think this edge looks nice up there, so I might have to pull that out and slide it up, cut it. I don't know. It's just a weird spot. So up top, got a little bit of overlap. Got this nice fascia. It's holding nice and tight without having to. So I just matched it up at the end there. That was probably the wrong call, but no, I'm probably just gonna leave it like it is for now. I'm just trying to get this done and weather tight so we can get wood in here. Along all the edges, I'm gonna put this, I think this is a 10 or 12 inch flashing. I bought this 50-foot roll. So I'm gonna put it all the way down here. I've got a pressure treated 2x4 here and another one right above it. And so I'm gonna cut out some little pieces of this paneling just to put it there as a spacer. This will be behind there, so any water coming down here will hit that and run to the ground. We'll have another little piece there as a spacer, and then we'll put the trim board on top here. So any water that gets underneath that trim will drop down below. And we'll have a nice weathertight, weatherproof sill all along here. This concrete right here, the edge is right there, so we wanted to make sure that that water gets down and doesn't go up underneath there. This wall is just barely taller than 8 foot. Again, I probably should have just made these exactly 8 foot and saved myself the hassle. I wouldn't have had to put the trim down here. Wouldn't have had to do any of that, but I think the trim looks nice up there. I think the trim will look nice down here. This extension we did here, kind of just threw it together, but these corner pieces really makes it look sharp, really finishes it out. And eventually I'd like to put some trim pieces up along here, and you can see around the window here. This one needs a lot of work, and you know, obviously soffits and all that stuff would be nice. We could do soffits in here too, but mostly worried about water, and I want to make sure this rebuild is really nice. This thing is, there's lots of other problems, other gremlins in there. Someday down the road that might need to be completely replaced, or we may rip out this entire structure and build a massive 40 by 80, 60 by 80 shop. But for now, working with what we got, and let's take care of this water issues. Shoo-wee. Don't that look nice? Don't judge me too much. Don't look too closely. It's not perfect, but it's far better than what it was before we started. Coming together slowly, but we're coming together. So inside here, you can still see some light underneath there, but that water is well away, and that drip edge is about an inch lower than this, so it's not ideal. None of this is ideal. This slab is far from ideal. It is very thin, all cracked up. We're just kind of rebuilding what was here. And unfortunately, all we really got left is these roof trusses and a little bit of electrical, but that saved us a little bit of money. Like I said, we scrapped some of this stuff. We just got to get this good enough. We got our firewood pile here. Got to get 3 more bays loaded up with firewood, and that thing, we're about ready to put that up by the house. So that's pretty much going to eat all that. So we got to stock up and get ready for this winter. We are 1st of November. This whole area kind of slopes. Everything comes down towards here. We've got our drainage system in here, but if water ever does get in here, or if we don't have a garage door closed here, water slopes back that way. And so this little gap in here actually will be nice, because any water can kind of go there and drop off. And then this French drain is right here, dug around, so any water that gets in there enters that French drain and runs around down the driveway. So to be honest, I'm not trying to be lazy, maybe a little bit, but I might just leave that as is. This side never gets seen. May save some wood and just leave that as is. Functionally, that is perfect. Still need to trim out this thing. I just want to get this good enough to get the insurance agent to give us the thumbs up and get full appraisal value on this barn. If we ever had a loss, I want to make sure our barn is covered. And right now, this building is holding back the classification and reducing the value. So if we had a loss, we wouldn't get the claim we should otherwise. And we just want to get shelter on our firewood and equipment and mower or whatever else we have in here. So it's nice to have this thing done. Really had a lot of heartache on whether or not to rebuild this or to just rip it off, and then that way it didn't devalue the barn. And eventually, I mean, honestly, even right now, it probably is more practical to have just built a shop. Speaking to that a little bit, we got a quote for replacing this roof, which probably needs to be done here in the next 3 to 5 years. 10 grand for that. We did put a roof on that. That was 3 grand. Had our employees put the sheeting on this. That was probably $1,000 plus in materials, and probably $1,000 plus and maybe $2,000 in labor. So that's 6 grand right there. This remodel's easily $2,500, if not $3,500 or $4,500 by the time we're done. If we had garage doors, that's about $1,000 a pop. So if we did everything, 6, let's just say 4, that's 10 plus 10, that's $20,000. We could have just, this building, $10,000. If we built a bigger shop, probably could have had something built for $100,000. We're already $30,000 into it. So, we got to get $10,000 worth of electrical ran to it too. But regardless, we do a new shop or not, we got to do electrical and all that stuff. So some of those expenses are doubled over, and some of those would have to be more. But I'm trying to work within our means, and I really don't want to, when we could do it financially, I just don't really want to spend $100,000 right now, whether that's in debt or not. It's just unnecessary at this point. So instead, we'll spend 3 or 4 on this, and spend 3 or 4 on that, and next year we'll spend 3 or 4, and 10 years down the road, we'll only have spent 30 or 40 instead of $100,000 today. Where there's a will, there's a way. This is how I'm doing this solo. I set that end up on the ladder, screwed this end in, went and screwed that end in, and now I put the level on it. Now I'm gonna braze this end up 3/4 of an inch. Should be level underneath here. Once I do that, I can cut this to match behind there, and can determine where I want my doorway at. It's not ideal. I really want an 8-foot opening here, and we're gonna have to shave some of this, but I think we'll have about 6 inches of meat on here, which should be more than enough. And yep, that's what we're doing. So I really want to fit the machines in here, and this machine is just over 8 foot. I don't know, even with this doorway, if that's going to fit in here. The skid's about 7 foot, so it'll fit in here no problem. but I definitely don't want to do a 7-foot door with the skid being close to that height. So this is what we're doing. We're pushing for upward height. That's half the goal with this project. Okay, I marked that before I pulled out the screw. Raised it up approximately 3/4 of an inch, just eyeballing it. And we're right on the money. Looking good. We're pretty much done with the woodshed build for now. Still have a few little things that we need to touch up on. We added our gravel drainage system in here. Eventually I want to add a little concrete ramp up into here into the golf cart parking. We've got our metal flashing down here, and we've got this panel that can be removed for a future garage door. This panel needs to be replaced eventually, but for now it's going to work. We got all of our trim board up there, all good and looking nice. Inside here we've got our firewood section. This wood stacking portion is 8 foot by 12 foot to that post right there. We added some 4x8 sheets up there of plywood and made a little fort for the kids. Pretty shallow roof spacing up there, but that works out really nice. Honestly, the old shed roof was about this tall on this end, so added a lot of space up there that wasn't there before. And for the firewood, we don't really need the headroom, so it's going to work out great for doubling up square footage in here. Also, this kind of stiffens up our structure right here, and like I said, just doubles up useful space. So really like how that turned out. As far as the way we built these walls, we've got these boards are essentially just sitting on the concrete, and then we've got some base steel plate boards, pressure treated, that has concrete nails going in there. So this is basically a patio building with pole structure holding it up. And then again, we reused our rafters up there. Got our wall on that side, and really just nice open concept comparison to what it was before. Before we had that wall here and it was divided out and wasn't really usable, but now we've got a nice big open bay through here, and lots of wood storage ability here. We've got a storage wall there, and with the ability to add future things. You can see a little bit of a sneak peek of our next project. So in here in the main shop, we've got a 2017 Silverado. You can see that right side's missing some things. We're currently working on fixing the cab. So that's a future project we're working on. Out here, pretty much finished up everything. We've got our trim fascia there to keep the roof watertight. We've got our Z flashing in here in between the top and bottom boards, and eventually we'll add, I think this is like a 9-foot wide opening by 8-foot tall garage door opening we've got planned out there. And then over here, still need to add some vertical trim along here to finish out that. We've got our flashing down there, keep water out of inside, and really worked out nice, tied in nicely with that end. Probably need to paint that little bit of red barn that's showing, but overall this whole project is just completely different than what it was before. Taller, better siding. Again, I believe this building has seen many revisions over the years, from just a dirt floor to a concrete floor, from a pole barn to eventually roof building. And we just used it as the woodshed. The roof always leaked on it, but it wasn't a big deal until, because it's attached to our main barn, it became a problem for insurance reasons. So we either had to make the choice of completely remove it or repair the roof, and we opted to repair the roof. So we'll see if it's the right choice. For now, it gives us some nice storage. Never seems like we have enough storage. We've got our shipping container shop right here that we use to store our landscape equipment in, and we're maxed out on this storage too. So we've got our lean-to there, we've got our containers here, we've got our open storage here, we've got trailer parking over there. So never seems like we have enough storage. Would love to have a bigger shop, would love to have enough height in our main barn for a lift someday. This barn doesn't work for that because it has a loft, but we work with what we got, and one step at a time, and adding the roof on this was the next step for this phase of the property. So it looks so much better. The side walls were rotten, the main poles in here were rotting. This thing basically just was one big windstorm away from just blowing over in the wind, and now it's super secure, watertight and all that. And all we need to do is put a couple doors on here, and then it's really watertight. It was always open before, so this is actually more enclosed than it ever was. And the roof doesn't leak anymore. So overall, this project looks great, turned out great, is a million times better than it was, and insurance is happy. It was this barn was only able to be insured for a quarter of what we're able to currently insure it for. So, and it only increased the price by a tiny bit. So that classification really made a difference, and it was a real driving force for prioritizing this and getting this done. You know, as well as keeping things dry. But that was honestly a secondary priority in the situation. But we're happy with it, how it turned out, and that's a wrap on this video. So we'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching Thrifty Garage.